Okay, I've been asked a lot of questions about how I make these little animation figures. This is a blacksmith and an anvil from the Aspen Model Company. Absolutely beautiful figures they make. I just love working with their stuff. Their resin and everything is terrific. There's just using my little lead tester at the moment. I've tinted soldered a 0603 lead just inside here, and the wire is coming up from underneath, so I just got that powered from the lead tester at the moment. And I've made the figure, and you can see, I'll just make him working there. You can see I haven't painted him yet. And there's the action. So he's coming down, hitting on the hot iron. And we turn this around. And you can see I've got a wire coming up into the back. I've hollowed out the back to make his arm move with a little linkage inside there. I'll describe all this linkage later on. But there it is. I've also, that's how they start off, that's how you get him. So you've got to make it all. I've just put the lead in the on the iron there at the moment, so that lead's ready to be tested. I'll just do a quick test on this. There we go. So you can see it's white at the moment, the lead, and I need to tint that, and I'll tint that with some Tamiya paint. And there's another one that I've made, which is a brakeman with a figure with a hand lantern. So this is going up to some friends in Seattle, where I'm going to the convention. I'm making these for those. Now to start this off, I've got a small rotary cutter in my, my Dremel stylus, and we get into the back. Well, we've hollowed out the back, and we've got to start drilling the hole up the figure for the wire to work the mechanism that's going to go into his back. To start that up, you've got to keep the drill straight, so keeping the alignment up one side. So one side is going to be, this is going to be the arm moving this side, so I'm drilling up the opposite side there where I've got to make room for the linkage. So keeping the drill straight going up, we'll drill these out. Once we've drilled the hole up the bottom through his leg and up into the cavity that we've made in the back, we need to put his arm on. So I've cut his arm off and I've started to drill. So we're going to just drill through this bit here, there, and I keep them together so that I got the alignment of the shoulder correct. We can drill through there with a 10th hour drill. So now we've got the hole through his arm, which is going to be the pivot pin. And we're going to use some Tichy Trains 10th hour phosphor bronze wire to make the linkage. Okay, I'm using Tichy Trains 10th hour phosphor bronze wire, and I'm also using Albion Alloys, Australian company, precision metals for model makers, brass tube, 0.5mm by 0.3mm ID. So this is only very fine tubing. Very, very fine. What I've made here then is, there's the mechanism that's going to go in his back. I've bent the wire and I've put the piece of tube on there. Now that piece of tube is going to be the rod going up and down, is going to be soldered onto that tube, and this bent piece is going to go into his arm. I'll put this together and we'll go to the next step. Okay, I threaded that through from his other side there. So I've got the tubing just sitting there. I need to put a little bit of flux on that, so I'm going to get a good solder join. This is Carr's liquid flux. I use this for all my coder installs as well. We've got to use a flux and a bit of solder. And I'm just going to tin this. Just a tiny bit on there, that's enough to tin it. And I've got to tin the wire going up to join that as well, so I'll do that now. Okay, I've got the second wire up inside here now from the base. I'm using 12.5 thou wire, it's a little bit stronger. I've got to come in there and I've got to solder this. And it should be soldered, and I've got the movement there now. Let's cut that little bit of excess solder off. So there's the movement there, going up and down inside. And we've got to put his arm on now. Okay, I've trimmed that off, and we've got to keep that arm up against the shoulder tightly. We're just going to bend that wire down. So there we go, there's the hammer. We just got to adjust that, and we'll put some super glue on that, and then that'll be right. Now we just push that in there, and we'll go and put a bit of super glue on that. I just use this Zapper Gap, and I'll let this dry. Okay, well, we've got that together there now, and we've got a fair bit of movement. You can see the movement that we got there. So you need a little bit of extra movement, but we can adjust that. The motor that we use, Mud Hen Models sell these. I buy these from Mud Hen Models in America. They're www.mudhenmodels.com. This is a little geared motor. I make up a wheel like a driver on a loco with a crank pin, and just use a little screw and a piece of tubing, and that goes soldered onto there. And that becomes your movement up and down. So there's the first one, there's the second one. All we've got to do there now, the simple part there, is glue his other arm on and position him. I've used a piece of styrene sheet, and I mount them on a bit of 15 thou styrene sheet, or 20 thou styrene sheet, and put a bit of grease up there to stop that getting super glue on it when you glue them on, and you just position the anvil onto it there as well. It'll have the light, and that's it. Pretty easy. There you go.